I think I've pissed off somebody important. If we screw this guy with $1 million a month in legal fees, we get $500,000 a month. So let's just tie him up with this for 4 years. It was a unique experience. I would argue that an Eastern European jail has got to be one of the worst in the world, wouldn't you say? I have no idea who's in this place. I have no idea what they think of me. I have no idea if they're going to attempt to extort me because I'm known for having money, etc. But it is what it is, and God has a plan. I understand the battle I'm in. Maybe I should be offended. Maybe I should wake up and say they've taken all my money and they're taking me away from my children, they're wasting my life. Maybe I should care. I keep going back to the Matrix, but I'm going to allow myself that privilege because they put me in jail yesterday. These clowns. But they attack masculinity on every level and say every single thing about it is bad until they need you to die in a war or run into a burning building, or they need 33 big guys to bust in my door. Then they need masculinity. But that is reassuring when you're in jail. Look, I'm still the center of their universe. They're still obsessed with me. I'm still the most important man in their lives. There is a war against free thought. There is a war against the basic tenets of masculinity. They are out to destroy anybody who thinks for themselves or has any semblance of manhood about him. If they get their teeth into you, sir, and they go through every phone call you've ever had, every text message you've ever sent, everywhere you've ever been, they will find crimes and your indictment will make you look like the Antichrist. Fact. But there were times the guards rushed into my room and did a complete sweep for anything that I could kill myself with. I was like, guys, I would never kill myself. Have you not seen my podcasts?
I have been inundated with people asking, get the Tate brothers on to tell their prison stories in depth, man. We are fundamentally a prison channel that went down the rabbit hole of the Matrix with David Icke. So viewers, you're in for an absolute treat. But the Matrix has revealed itself on the way here. As many of you know, Michael Francis was supposed to be here with us today. 2 days before we schedule a sit down with Andrew, he gets his passport confiscated by the American authorities. Can you believe it? And they say the Matrix doesn't exist. Come on now. It's quite obvious. Before we get into the prison stuff and the rest of the stories, huge thank you first to Andrew, because it was only yesterday, he got put back inside for a day.
Yeah.
We'd already booked to come out. We were like, what is going on? And he must be hectic right now. And he's kindly come down here, spent this time with us. So hugely appreciate it, man. Thank you.
No, thank you for having me. Yeah, I got out of jail 21 hours ago on my second visit. And very interesting what you say about Michael. I'm praying for him because anyone who believes the Matrix doesn't exist just simply hasn't got high enough yet. I often compare it to, but it's like a fishbowl, right? You have people living inside of the fish tank and they're swimming around talking about how free they are. And they say, I can see in all directions and I don't see any walls and I'm free. And I'm sure that's true unless you try and swim too far. And then you're going to start bouncing up against glass walls and you're going to realize that there are control mechanisms that are designed to prevent people from learning too much or saying too much or having too much unless you are controlled to some degree.
Let's get back to the Matrix then. Let's go into the prison stuff first. So on the day of your arrest, the first arrest, not yesterday, what were you looking forward to the most in your life? What were your plans?
I had a flight booked for that day. I had a jet on the runway, fully fueled. I was intending on flying back to Dubai. I only came to Europe for 4 days. I came to London to have a conversation with Piers Morgan. And then I stopped in Prague, and then I stopped in Vienna. And then from Vienna, I thought, do I fly directly to Dubai? Because I intend on being in Dubai for the next 3 or 4 months. But then I decided to repack my suitcase. I thought, I've had the same clothes for a while, and I'm filmed everywhere I go. It's all on TikTok. I should probably change. So I flew and I landed here at 7 p.m. and my intention was to take off at 10 a.m. I landed, I packed my bag, I went to bed, and then at 5 a.m., friends came to visit me, And that was the beginning of a saga which is going on for 2 years now. I've not left this country. I've only recently been able to leave this city. I've been under some form of arrest for 422 days, I believe.
Going back to when you first went in, I mean, I'd watched Shawshank Redemption, so I was myself, and then I go in, and all these massive tattooed guys are staring at me through the plexiglass, fresh meat.
Yeah.
With the guys shouting, "Tape brothers, tape brothers, tape brothers." That must have really boosted your spirits, because didn't you have had you watched Shawshank, for example?
I've seen it, yeah.
Before did you have a preconceived notion of what you were getting into, Banged Up Abroad style?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because Putin recently said about the war in Ukraine, he said, "Growing up on the streets of Leningrad taught me that if a fight is inevitable, you must hit first." And my approach to violence my entire life has been one of absolute avoidance. I'm not a violent person and I don't like violence, but I understand that violence exists in the world and I've always been okay at it. I'm pretty good at it. And to me, it's almost like the rain. I don't want it to rain, but if it rains, you get wet. And my brother and I kind of looked at each other because we can speak without speaking because we lived together our whole lives. And as we were taken into the cell, as we were taken into the jail, I apologize, from the van, we gave each other a glance and a nod. And that was basically hit first. That was all it meant. We're going to walk in there. We're going to hold our heads high. We're going to treat people with respect. We're going to be a very good person and nice and polite and say please and sorry and thank you. But if some idiot really wants it, then you're going to hit him first. But I didn't feel like it was up to me. It's almost like, is it going to rain? Is it going to snow? I'll deal with it if it comes, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I felt a twinge of nerves, but not fear. It was more like pre-fight nerves, like, I have no idea who's in this place. I have no idea what they think of me. I have no idea if they're going to attempt to extort me because I'm known for having money, etc. But it is what it is, and God has a plan. And if I win or lose whatever encounter I enter, once again, it's God's plan. Perhaps I'll die in here, but it is what it is. My brother had a saying in jail, which was, for some reason, kept making me laugh. Things are funny in jail that aren't funny on the outside, but it was funny. He'd slick his hair back. He'd get a cigarette. He'd smoke it and he goes, "Let him try." Because I said to him about some guy kept asking for cigarettes. He goes, "Let him try. I'm a fucking tough guy." I was like, what does that mean? He goes, like the movies. I'm a fucking tough guy, like the movies. I'll body slam him. I'm a fucking tough guy. For some reason, it was funny. But I guess that's just our attitude. We weren't there to be bullied by anybody. And very quickly, people treated us with respect. And I was very respectful to people, but also there was times I bumped into a guy in the hallway. And from my understanding, he was in jail for beating someone with a hammer. Some old man with a hammer, he beat him to death or something. And I bumped into him and I said, sorry, and he didn't reply. And the guards were walking us. I said, brother, I said sorry to you. And he goes, oh, sorry. I made a killer apologize to me. Now, why did I do that? Because I said sorry to you, and you just ignored me. Now, I have no idea. He might have gone back to his cell and say, I bumped into Tate. He said sorry. The fact I made him apologize to me, you don't know how the repercussions spread in a place like jail. That might have been enough for him to go, you know what, those Tate brothers, you don't know. And I don't think I was being unfair. I wasn't being aggressive. I wasn't trying to start a fight. But he bumped into me effectively. In fact, I didn't even do anything wrong. He bumped into me, and I said sorry. So you better say it back, sir. And I feel like if you approach life that way, you'll be okay.
Yeah, people don't understand how combustible it is. Like, you could be walking past someone, they say, what are you looking at? Looking at nothing. You calling me nothing?
Yeah.
Next thing, bam.
And that's one thing that actually, I think prisons, of course, I say I think, I'm sure I know. Prisons are different all around the world. And I feel like an American jail, perhaps in many ways, would be more violent than a Romanian jail. It didn't feel violent. It felt sad. The people in jail who actually seemed like the most calculated were a lot of the financial criminals. They're sharp, mentally at least. But also in a Romanian jail, and like I said, this is not insult to Romania. I'm sure this is the same in most poorer countries. There was a lot of simply mental health issues. There was a lot of people who were simply mentally ill. And they weren't separated in any way. You had people who would just bang their head on the door until they'd bleed everywhere, and an ambulance would have to come, and they'd get dragged out the cell unconscious or whatever, patched up, thrown back in. 3 days later, they'd bang their head on the door. So I was living in a mental asylum. Part of the experience was it. There were a lot when I was in there. I can't say exactly how many. But there were times the guards rushed into my room and did a complete sweep for anything that I could kill myself with. I was like, guys, I would never kill myself. Have you not seen my podcasts? And they're like, no, we got to take everything. They took my little bottle of Tabasco because it was made of glass. They took my exercise band. Took my bed sheets, took my shoelaces. And your room just gets stripped of any type of comfort whatsoever. So, yeah, it was interesting.
Did your mind start to review your life?
It did, and I came to a conclusion which actually was quite comforting. And I said this to Tristan. I said, Tristan, if you were to come to us at the age of 16 as nobodies in a Luton council estate and say that you're going to struggle in life and you're going to become kickboxing world champions and you're going to try your very best in lots of different things, but you're never going to rob any grandmas, you're never going to sell, guns, you're not going to commit. And then around the age of 26, 27, you'll start to make some money. And then you'll become multimillionaires. You become some of the most famous people on the planet. And you'll drive around in Bugattis. And you'll fly on private jets. And you'll do all these things. But at the age of 36, you're going to have to go to jail. At 16, would you have signed that piece of paper? And I said, you know what? I would have. Knowing me, I would have said, what? When I'm 36, I have to go to jail a little bit. Sure. How long for? I mean, it's turned out to be 3 months plus 5 months house arrest. Will I probably go back for some years? I have no idea anymore. I have so little faith in the system. People keep asking me, hey, Andrew, what's happening with your case? I'm like, bro, I don't know. England tried to put me in jail yesterday. I haven't lived in England in 10 years. I don't have a clue what's going on anymore. And at a certain level of fame, the whole judicial system is only theater anyway. It's not real. It's all a big play. So, but would I have agreed to this life path? Probably. And I would have taken the highs with the lows. I've never been a coward. Would I have accepted higher highs to have lower lows? Yes. That's who I've always been as a man. I could have avoided all of these problems by not having a Bugatti and not going to jail and working in Starbucks. But as I've said many times before, then all you're doing is burying your head in the sand like an ostrich, hoping that the matrix doesn't run you over. I have a lot of people say to me, Andrew, why do you fight so hard against the system? Because the system's coming for absolutely everybody. It's not just coming for me. It's coming for you as well. It's coming for every single man on the planet. This garbage they just hit me with, opening up cases from 10 years ago that have previously been closed to try and put me in jail because they don't like what I say, is proof in and of itself that any man with an opinion is not safe in the world anymore. Your ability to speak freely is directly correlated to your insignificance. And if people know who you are and you say the truth, not if you say bad things, if you say the truth, they will try and put you in jail. So you have two choices. You can fight against it and stand up and resist, or you can bury your head in the sand, agree with the garbage they put on the news, have a lackluster relationship, a woman who barely respects you because she wishes you were a warrior deep down, work a bullshit job, listen to the HR department, call everyone by their pronouns, and hope to be eaten by the alligator last. But you're going to die just the same. So I don't see the point in delaying the inevitable. What did I say at the beginning of this? If it's going to be a fight, I'm going to swing first. There is a war against free thought. There is a war against the basic tenets of masculinity. They're out to destroy anybody who thinks for themselves or has any semblance of manhood about him. And if that war is certain, which it seems like it is, I'm going to swing first. I'm not going to wait for them to sucker punch me. So the only way I could have not taken this deal and avoided jail was to sit there and be a coward from the beginning and then live a bullshit, mediocre life, which I think is a far more heinous punishment. The insignificance of being a normie and a brokey is far worse than being up here one day and down here the next, then up here again. Because I can deal with it all. I was in jail yesterday. And I'll be in jail again. And I'll walk out again. Head held. Might take a year. Might take 10. But I'm not going to sit and just do. You know how many people have messaged me since yesterday saying, Andrew, it's not worth it. They're too strong. They're too powerful. Just shut up. I'm like, I understand why, as a woman or a coward, that crosses your mind. But let me explain something to you. That doesn't cross the mind of a warrior ever. It's not an option on the board. We're playing chess. I don't think I wish my bishop could move that way, because it can't. Whether I'm winning or losing, my bishop operates in a specific way and I can't make it do anything else. I'm not going to quit and start putting on a dress and talking shit for Globo to save myself going to the cell. I'd rather go to the cell and tell my cellmates why I'm there because I told the truth and I caught another case.
Andrew, I wish you all the power of Bruce Lee, the moon, the universe, taking down these reptilian, shape-shifting, lizard-conscious Give me a hug, Robert. Thank you for your time today. Absolutely brilliant, man. Nailed it. Well done. Brilliant. Yeah.